Welcome back. This is the Scaling Secrets podcast, and Marco Torres is here from marketingboost.com. Now, Marketing Boost has helped thousands of business owners worldwide boost sales and scale their businesses by as much as fivefold using incentive-based marketing and value-add incentives instead of discounts. Now, there is a Facebook group with over 27,000 active businesses that Marco teaches to. So we're going to find out all about this value add incentives concept and how Marco grew his Facebook group, grew his business, and all the struggles and stumbles along the way. So Marco, glad to be speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to this.
So do I. And so we introduced you a little bit, but it's always great to get the news directly from the source. So what are you all about? What's the elevator pitch? What's your current focus?
Well, what I'm all about nowadays is helping other entrepreneurs. My company and I, we serve business owners around the globe with what I call the wow, surprise, and delight factor. In other words, we give folks with Marketing Boost travel incentives that they can use to enhance whatever their call to action is, generate more leads, close more sales, trade show giveaways. So we talk about how to add value versus discounting. So, Black Friday promos are coming up. Instead of giving 50% off, add value. And we teach that with or without our travel incentives. Obviously, we have our own products to promote, but I've got some ideas for your audience today that we can use to enhance whatever your call to action is with or without our travel incentives.
Wonderful. And ideas are wonderful, right? It just takes one idea to bolt on, tack onto your business and to really expand things. And so I love the start we're already on here, where we're saying that discounts are bad and adding value is good. And you hear this a lot where like discounts are sort of a shortcut and it's almost like a drug. Like I think it was some book like the 24 Immutable Laws of Marketing kind of talks about this idea of like, well, if you do a discount, it might work great once if it's like something new and surprising. But then if you keep doing it, you're training your buyers to wait for the discount or look for the discount. And it's like, do you really want someone like that? You want customers that are waiting for the discounted Rolls Royce or the discounted Aston Martin? Well, no, they should be excited when it costs even more. And so this whole thing of the adding the travel package to an offer, I've sort of seen this on the buyer end where they say like, here's my coaching package, and then there's this like cruise trip that's kind of added on, or this kind of resort vacation. But I've only seen a little bit from like the receiving side. So from the selling side, what is this sort of value add incentives idea?
Well, we came up with this 2010 or 12 around there, and we didn't launch this business until 2017. But the idea came about originally, Robert, when we were building a very fast growing travel site, and back in 2010 forward, and we wanted video reviews. We were like, man, and by the way, this tip I'm going to talk about, any business owner out there could be using, but we wanted more video testimonials. And we knew if we only had dozens or hundreds of video testimonials, that's proof we'd be able to leverage into thousands of additional sales. But we had a real hard time getting any of our clients to go that extra mile and film a selfie testimonial about the hotels that we were selling and so forth. So we came up with an idea to offer a bonus vacation, a bonus reward if they would go that extra mile and film a selfie testimonial from the pool, the bar, the beach, or something, bragging about the hotel brand and bragging about us. And it took off like a rocket. As soon as we did that, before we knew it, we had dozens of these video reviews coming in, and then hundreds, and we were publishing them all over our website, our Facebook, our YouTube ads, our TV ads, and it did start, leveraging into multiple hundreds of new sales. But then, as everybody was raising their hand to use their free trip, we were promising, expensive to fulfill, so we had to, turn off that campaign. And we thought, how could we keep this going? If we could only come up with a way to keep this going where these trips didn't cost us so much, who knows what we could do with this? So we went back to our travel partners, because we were in the travel business. We went back to our hotel partners in Orlando and Las Vegas and said, look, you've got a problem, and we think we came up with an idea to help solve it. Let's be honest, your hotel is not full year round. I mean, you've got empty rooms. Yeah, you're full for 4th of July, Christmas week, Easter week, New Year's Eve, special events, holidays. But most of the year, 70% of the year, you've got 30, 40, 50% of your rooms going empty. And they agreed. So we got access to their unsold inventory to help them fill these rooms and convince them that they're going to generate some revenue versus none if they're letting folks stay in these rooms for next to nothing, and really just paying the taxes and fees that the government charges. And then the client would hopefully spend money at the restaurant, bar, casino, gift shop, excursion desk, upgrade room types, book extra nights, and turned out to work just fine like that. So we thought, can you imagine if we had partners now in Orlando and Vegas join us? We thought, if you can only imagine if we had dozens of resorts or hundreds around the world participating, we'd have a whole new business. And that's what eventually became marketingboost.com, where we now owners how they can create tiered rewards program, referral incentives, birthday anniversary rewards, all exclusive access to upgrades with bonuses included, and that kind of thing. And boy, it's taken off. We now serve thousands of business owners around the globe and helping them create evangelists for our clients' brand. The idea is, how do we help our clients? How do we help business owners, create true evangelists for your brand? And one of the ways, I mean, we're not the magic bullet. You've got to have a good product, a good service. People need to like and trust you. But adding these travel incentives versus discounts can be a huge deal. And so you were asking about the how does it work on our side? Well, we make it super affordable. We didn't invent the travel incentive business, but we turned it upside down. Now it's a very affordable subscription plan that you, as a business owner, subscribe to, and then you have the ability to give away an unlimited amount of these travel incentives to your clients with whatever your call to action is. There's no timeshare presentations or anything like that your clients have to, any hoops your clients have to jump through. You get the ability to add this high perceived value complimentary hotel stays in 130 destinations around the world, or smaller incentives like hotel savings cards. They come in increments of one, two, three, and $500, or restaurant savings vouchers that you can add to your, trade show giveaways, or you can add to your Black Friday promos, your all kinds of ideas like that to create value again versus just discounting, and stand out from the crowd, even if it's not about discounting. How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you create that scarcity and urgency to help people, give them a reason to get off the fence and take action with you today? And we have case studies for nearly every industry out there that these incentives have helped scale their business.
Wonderful. There's so many lessons built into what you mentioned there in sort of your origin story, right? And I love this idea of kind of living within the risk, right? Because you have on one side of the equation, you have these hotels that they have the empty rooms, like you said. Their problem that you notice from being so immersed in all this is that they have all these empty rooms except for on these holidays, so they're just like losing money. The rooms aren't being filled, so you kind of got these a deal on these rooms, and then you kind of, in order to distribute it, you have this kind of unlimited business model where you make the math work, right? You have all these subscribers and they can give away the packages, and then you kind of live within the difference of that. And I can see how it pays off in so many different ways, right? Because it pays off with you and these relationships you're building with the hotels, and it pays off with these other companies that are kind of like using these deals. And so you're saying that, if I heard you right, like what's kind of common is kind of have these business owners, they have their buyers deliver like video testimonial in exchange for, or as like part of this kind of having the travel package as a bonus. Did I hear you right?
Yeah, well, that's sort of one of the benefits that we offer the hotels, and that are hotels and resort partners, is that we do encourage our clients to, you know, film selfie testimonials and brag about the hotel brand and so forth. I mean, we now have over 30,000 video testimonials on one of our travel sites, thousands on others, where we've used this method to acquire, testimonials, especially video testimonials. But we created what I call a win-win, a super win-win-win relationship. And so for the Marketing Boost members that use our incentives, I mean, our we make it super affordable. Robert, it's only $37 a month to join Marketing Boost, so it's a no-brainer for anybody to give it a shot. and there's no long-term commitments, etc. Two, it's a win for the hotel partners. Again, we're helping them fill these rooms, and they now realize they are generating revenue, some revenue versus none, because they've got fixed costs, right? They've got a mortgage payments, they got front desk staff, maintenance crew. I mean, the only difference in expense for that room being filled is hotel staff. I mean, the cleaning staff. Otherwise, they've still got all the other fixed costs, regardless if that room is full or not. And and these clients will spend money on the property more than likely. And then it's a win for the end user who receives one of these incentives from one of the Marketing Boost members with whatever their call to action was, because now they're getting to travel for sometimes, pennies on the dollar compared to retail. And you should see many of the video reviews of people are thanking the business owner who gave it to them. They never would have been able to gone to Hawaii if it hadn't been for the gift from the client. Never would have been able to stay at a AAA Four Diamond Resort in Cancun or Cabo San Lucas. I mean, we've got some of our destinations have some really sexy hotel partners and so forth. And others are, they're all either 3, 4, or 5 stars based on TripAdvisor reviews in order to be a part of our program. And another thing is, again, I mentioned there's no hoops to jump through for your client, no sales previews to listen to, no phone calls to make. I mean, they log in, receive the incentive, they log in and pay. There's an activation fee to pay. I mean, they don't include airfare. Here's the 3 disclaimers that anybody who's using these incentives has to tell their client. They don't include airfare, they don't include food and beverage, and they don't include government taxes and fees. But once they activate the certificate, which pays the government taxes, they have 18 months to log into an online platform and select travel dates and go. But so that's how it works for the business owner who's using them. And then it's up to them. And with our, we offer a lot of training and give ideas to business owners on how to create a referral program using these incentives, how to create a tiered rewards program that reward your clients for buying additional, ongoing products, or for being a loyalty program, or for paying 12 months in advance. And so we teach our members, don't, even though they can give away as many of these as they want to with our membership, we we recommend you create scarcity and urgency. Make people earn these rewards somehow, and the more they do to earn it, the more they're going to actually use it, and the more they're going to appreciate the reward.
I love that, and I appreciate you kind of putting the objections right up on there, right? Because like this seems like a crazy deal, right? $37 for unlimited of these, and then they can just kind of redeem and pay the government taxes and book their airfare, and then go and pay for their food and beverages, and it's incredible. But then, as you know, as a marketer, if you just say, well, hey, here, take it's cheaper, it's free, no one wants it. But then you put a line outside the club, or the velvet rope is roped off, and suddenly now it's exclusive and people want to get in. And so there's like so many ideas, right? Our brains could go crazy just thinking of all the hundreds of ideas and things you've mentioned. Like if there's like the loyalty thing, like if someone's been subscribed for all these months, give them this package. But have you seen like a top 1 or 2 ideas or techniques work really well? Because we could like go through the list of all the hundreds, but as far as like the commonalities, right? The 80/20, or like those of your performers that like make the most money or do the best as far as scarcity and urgency, like what do you see working really well?
Well, there's several things that come to mind that are being used by a multitude of our members, and we do have thousands of business owners. Well, like my Facebook group, I think you said 27. It's already over 30,000 members. And but the idea, one of them that comes to mind is very popular with a lot of our members in today's world. Many of us are using Zoom or other technology to we no longer have to travel all over the world, all over the country, all over the city to make sales calls, and our sales team can meet with people on these Zoom calls. So people book appointments for your Zoom call, but then what? How many of them no shows? And so you've got your sales team dealing with no shows and trying to get that calendar full in the first place. Well, a lot of our members are using our incentives as part of their call to action to book the appointment, and more importantly, to show up on time. So, for example, they'll use one of our micro incentives, like a $100 restaurant savings voucher. These are good at about 250,000 offers throughout the USA and Canada. or one of our hotel savings cards. They work kind of like a gift card, but they don't pay for the entire hotel stay. They offer a discount compared to retail, and they come in increments of 1, 2, 3, and 500, so you can test different amounts. But for example, a lot of them have offer a $200 hotel savings card that are good at over 1 million hotels worldwide. If you book that no obligation Zoom call to speak to one of our staff to see if it's a good fit for you and I to work together, and so book the appointment, and we'll reward you with a $200 hotel savings card if you show up on time for the appointment. So now you set up your reminder messages. You got the appointment booked, not only because they're interested in whatever your product or service is, but hey, that reward sounds pretty good as well. And then you're going to all your reminder messages are going to say, don't forget, we think your time is super valuable. We think our time is valuable as well. If you show up on time for the appointment, don't forget we're going to reward you with a $200 hotel savings card for your next hotel booking. And boom, you're going to help kill two birds with one stone. One, get more bookings. Two, eliminate a lot of your no-shows. And so that's just one example that's being used by all kinds of our members. On LinkedIn, for example, I'm on LinkedIn. I've always got people offering me, hey, we'll give you a $100 Amazon gift card if you show up, if you book an appointment for us just to chat. Well, shit, that's excuse my French there, but that's a hard cost. If you give somebody $100 Amazon gift card, that costs you $100. There's no real way there's no getting those at a discount. So using one of our hotel savings cards cost you $37 a month to give somebody a 2 or a 3 or a $500 hotel savings card discount, which is a very high perceived value incentive that doesn't cost you as the business owner next to nothing. And you can have that high value as a way to engage a prospect, to get them to give you a real email, phone number, if you're filling out a lead form, if you're asking them to download your PDF, to get our lead magnet product, get our PDF, learn how to do this or how to do that. And by the way, just for filling out the form to get our free PDF, we're going to give you $100 restaurant savings voucher good in your zip code. And now you're adding another reason for people to give you their best email and their a real phone number, and boom, you're generating a lead and your actual good contact or good contact information to follow up.
Wonderful. And it's great to kind of peek into your mindset a little bit, because it seems like you're all about kind of like debugging the system, right? You have this whole kind of start to finish system where you have this business and you want to get prospects, you want to get them on calls and kind of sell them on your coaching or your product or your offer or something. And then where are the bottlenecks? Where do they drop off? And as you said many times in this example, Zoom calls, maybe someone doesn't show up or someone doesn't show up on time. So you look at things like the follow-up, or you look at kind of where are they dropping off, or that conversion rate, and how to kind of refine the messaging so that way those bottlenecks get removed. And then you think of like kind of the two extremes there is, well, you give them some kind of reward for taking the action that you want, for showing up. And then that kind of example there with the Amazon gift card, it's like, how many of those can you really give away? And like, maybe they make the math work, but it seems like a loss leader. And then with like inflation and the value of the dollar and everything, you can't really go that far below $100, right? Like if someone said, hey, I'll give you a $10 Amazon gift card or $15 for showing up, you're like, I'm only worth $15 for showing up. So it seems like it's easy to lose there, right? It's like the book Freakonomics had a thing where it's like, if you were a parent and you were late picking your kid up from daycare, they'd charge you a $3 late fee, and parents were like, hey, cool, it's only $3. That I was expecting $30, right? So there's that kind of the math and psychology of it all, it seems like, where you can really go wrong in a lot of ways. Either the numbers don't work or the psychology hits different. But if you're saying $500 discount from on the like restaurant from this card in your zip code, like you think in your head, well, it's not like $500 cash, but it's still in your head. You think like a discount card, you still think like 60 or 70% of the value. So it's still like $200 or $300 for me showing up. I mean, it's not a hard cost. So that's like kind of like you said, the super win-win-win for everybody. And so that this is all like, my brain is on fire, right? With just all the kind of marketing principles and the ideas specifically from you. But since we're on a podcast, it's really fun to dive deep and get into the hurt, the pain. So to have a fun story to share just about your difficulties, because entrepreneurs, we all have them, right? We've all made mistakes. We've all had those struggles. So tell me about one of your struggles.
Struggles. Well, let's see. COVID was a big one that certainly hurt our business. And, we're in the travel space. So, as you can imagine, when COVID-19 hit, we were very nervous about what would happen. And sure enough, as months went on, we lost probably about 35% of our subscribers, business owners that were using our incentives. Many of them thinking, "Well, who's going to be interested in a travel reward?" So those were popular, and the overall our membership dropped dramatically, and we came up with some of the solutions. We came up with one, instead of 18 months to use the travel incentive, we were extended that to 24 months to give people a longer time to use the incentive. I ended up having to discount our price to join and stay a member of Marketing Boost as the B2B, the business owners that were using Marketing Boost. So we came down we went back to classic price actually. We at that point, prior to COVID, we were at 197 a month to use our services with Marketing Boost. And when we launched in 2017, we were at $37 a month, but we only had about 6 destinations, and we only had like one type of travel incentive. Today we have 130 destinations, plus the hotel savings cards, plus the restaurant vouchers. But anyway, we went back to went from 197 a month back to $37 a month, which we have never gone back up on the price yet. And but anyway, we thought, well, let's go global. So instead of keep charging 197, and all of our clients were U.S. based, we took it to $37 a month again and made it affordable for any entrepreneur, any business owner anywhere in the globe. We added dozens and dozens of more destinations around the globe to participate in the program. So we could have attractive incentives in Singapore and the Philippines and India and Australia and Europe, etc. And long story short, I mean, yeah, we had bells during 2019, 2020, but those that stuck with their clients were activating those certificates. Truthfully, they weren't using them, right? Nobody was traveling. Everybody was afraid of COVID. But by the middle of 2021, it was like revenge travel. Everybody came back, and our came back to the program. The users were activating those certificates and using them like never before. And today, with inflation like it is, the idea of saving on travel is attractive to anybody. So, bottom line is, we've come back out of COVID now, and just really, even though we never went back up on the price, we've kept our price still at 37 a month. We've just really tripled our membership base, and the use of the incentives has never been as high as it is today. So it's overall, we came out of that. When you come close to, like, I mean, it did not look good there for a while. We get, we had handouts to keep our staff employed and what have you. I forget what they called those.
Stimulus.
Yeah, stimulus checks that came in to keep our employees rolling, and that was helpful. We kept us in business, and the end of the day, boom, we're back, and we're back like never before.
Wonderful. So you turned a bad into a good. You saw the opportunity in it. You didn't panic. You didn't give up. You said, well, what are all these other factors that I kind of play with, or how can I use the stress or the kind of contraction as a motivation to expand in other areas and innovate in other ways. And so wonderful job, Mr. Marco. And so since this is the Scaling Secrets podcast, I want to make sure that we get a scaling secret out of you. Like, do you have a tip or any advice for someone that is looking to just really scale their business, because there's so many difficulties, right? So many headaches and so much inner mindset and outer action. So what comes to mind as far as a scaling secret from you?
Well, it depends upon how big your business is in the first place, right? If you're starting out, if you're a small home-based business or what have you, I think one of the biggest mistakes too many entrepreneurs make is they don't outsource and start delegating things. They try to do everything themselves, and in today's world is way too easy to be I mean, you should be hiring people on Upwork. Anything you do over and over every day, you should be turning that into a business process and getting that outsourced to somebody, the team around you that's smarter than you at different areas, so you can manage your business from up above rather than just working at it every day. If you're already got a 6-figure, 7-figure business and you're trying to scale or scale even further, then before you scale, I would also recommend making sure that reserves before you reinvest everything into additional, growing the team, investing in technology, investing in what have you. Do you have some reserves put aside for the rainy day, which is what got us through COVID? We did have, fortunately, some reserves. Didn't hurt to get some funds from the government thrown our way as well. But without reserves in the mix, we wouldn't have, this whole thing we'd built for years could have disappeared. So, of COVID disaster. So build up some reserves, figure out what percentage you need to stay in business for 6 months, for example, if things were to go sour. Once you've got that amount put aside in reserves that you can put into a, safe investments of some sort that are not too risky, but you're not just leaving in a savings account losing based on inflation. But now you can take the from the income you're going a percentage of it into, scaling it with additional marketing and additional. But I can't tell you enough. I'm a believer in having some reserves so you can sleep at night when things get a little tight.
I love it. So it seems like three pieces of advice from you, basically, right? One is that as your business kind of grows all these different levels, it takes a different mindset, right? You use this to get to 250, you use this to get to a million, use this to get to 5 million, kind of different mindsets. But you're saying what stays true as far as no matter what level you're on is number one, delegate and systematize and outsource and kind of always be in that mindset of instead of you doing the work, put the same time and effort and energy into documenting and to hiring and to delegating. And then you're also saying to have those cash reserves for the inevitable time when there's a downturn in your business or your industry and it's finance 101, but it's not sexy and so few people do it. So it's definitely worth mentioning again, delegate and have those reserves in place. And so we want to make sure here, Marco, that we give as well as get, right? Come on here, you've given us all kinds of wonderful ideas as you promised and all sorts of like insights and ahas. We want to make sure that people know about you and Marketing Boost because this is an amazing offer that you have and you're always tweaking it and always expanding it. So tell us what the next step is here. What's the call to action? What should people do if they were wowed and amazed by your advice here and they want to find out more about your company?
Well, thank you. Yeah, just go to marketingboostsolutions.com, marketingboostsolutions.com. There you can get access to Marketing Boost. And actually, for your listeners, you can get a free account. If you go to marketingboostsolutions.com, you can get a free account. It's freemium. You get to try, our top 7 destinations. It doesn't include all of the incentives, but it doesn't even require you put in a credit card to set up an account. So you can go set up an account and give yourself one of the incentives, test using these incentives with your call to action, and then join our Facebook group. We've got our Marketing Boost official Facebook group. And in that group, the whole idea is to encourage you and give you ideas where you can see others participating and they're sharing their ideas, what they're doing, how they're using these incentives. And that's obviously a free option as well. So, but marketingboostsolutions.com and join up there and then follow my podcast. We also have our own podcast called the Marketing Boost Solutions Show. And the Marketing Boost Solutions, we interview experts with the idea of, inspirational stories on how to build your business, kind of like what you do, Robert.
And kind of like what most podcasters do, right? If they're doing it right. And there's no shortage of those podcasts. There's definitely a need for someone to kind of be in continuous learning mode to either solve the problems in their business or just have a podcast like ours or like yours or both at the same time, but in the playlist in the background. That way they can kind of stay focused and energized and just get their business to where they need to go. Because I love everything about your mindset here. Like when people go to Marketing Boost Solutions, you have this freemium model. That way they can join and try it out and get kind of the proof that it works, get bit by the bug and then go and do more. And then that Marketing Boost Solutions show, so that way they can listen, and then the Marketing Boost official Facebook group. That way they can also get even more of that sustained energizement and focus and excitement of just seeing what's possible by plugging in these value add incentives that Marketing Boost offers to enhance their offers and to kind of improve these little micro commitments from buying and staying a customer and shop on the Zoom calls. So many possibilities, but it's also easy to get an idea and get overloaded and then kind of throw it away and move on to the next idea. So let's not do that. Let's go to marketingboostsolutions.com. That way you follow through on this idea. And as we're wrapping up our conversation here, Marco, I like to ask my guests to add one little final thing at the end, which is a powerful quote or lesson that really helped them out that they can pass along. So what comes to mind for you when I ask you about a powerful quote or lesson of any kind that you think can apply here?
Well, one thing that's affected my life since a kid, when I started my early journey in sales, my dad turned me on to Zig Ziglar's series of books. And I've always really come up with, I've taken away one of his quotes, which is, if you help enough other people get what they want in life, you'll get what you want. And I've lived by that mantra ever since. Also, he talks about, as a salesperson, learning to listen with two ears and talk with one mouth. So listen twice as much as you talk as a salesperson as well. So if you're focused on helping other what they really need, whether that's your service or not, then if you're really making sure, if it's not a good fit, don't sell it to them. Find them, refer them to the right person or the right company or what have you. And if you can take your mind off of what's in it for you, what's instead focus on what's in it for your clients. Uh, if that's the main goal, you will end up getting what you want, which is those clients or other service, other benefits, other joys in life.
Beautiful. We call that an abundance mindset, right? If you're stressed out about this one deal that you have and you're not going to get it, pass it along and help others. There's more fish in the sea. There's more people you can help, and it will come back around and help you as long as you keep your numbers up and do the hard work. So it's time now to go to marketingboostsolutions.com. And thank you very much, Marco, for showing up, taking the time, and just being a cool interviewee.
Thank you, Robert.
All righty. So